So in the previous lecture, I discussed regarding the MSP430X5X block diagram, and then I discussed the functional block diagrams of MSP430X5X. So I discussed in this the block architectures of MSP430X5X, and I discussed the various components available on that particular microcontrollers. Then the next topic is called on-chip peripherals and register sets. So in this microcontroller board, how many peripherals are available, which type of peripherals are available, how many register sets are available in this particular microcontrollers. Today I am going to discuss these things in detail. So now first we will start from the, if you want to interface any peripheral devices, so it required general purpose input output interface. Without interface, without pins, you can't able to connect that. Okay, so this is called MSP430 GPIO, general purpose input output port. In this port, you are going to interface any external peripheral devices, and also some internal peripherals devices are also present on that board. That's also I will discuss in that. So there are various input output ports are available. In that, what is the features of that port? So first, it is independently programmable. So you can program for any single pins, for any ports, whatever you want. Okay, so there are few pins are available which is used as a general purpose input output, and that pin will be, you can configure like input or output. Whatever pins are available, these pins will work in both ways, either output or input. It depends upon you how can you want to configure, how are you going to configure this pin as an input or as an output. So which is independently, it depends upon the users only. So user can be configured either it is input pins or as a output pins. So now any combinations of input, output, interrupt and peripheral is possible. So with the help of this pin, you can also you can use the any devices which work as an interrupt also. Like you are interfacing the sensor with this any port. So what will happen? If sensor will take the input, he will inform to the controller, I got the input. And then he will consider that input and he will do the job like that. And also the each input output pins has an individually programmable pull up pull down registers. So in MSP 430 boards, the pull up pull down concepts are available. Pull up pull down registers are available. We will see in the latter stage what is the functions of these registers. Separate topics will be there, pull up registers and pull down registers. We will talk in detail there. Many devices can lock pin values during low power modes. Now I already told you there are several low power modes are available for MSP 430, like L low power mode 0, low power mode 1, low power mode 2, low power mode 3, 2, low power mode 3, low power mode. So there are 4 different types of low power mode. So in this low power mode, you are going to switch off the various clocks. So all of you know that there are 3 types of clocks are available. That is A clock, SM clock, M clock. Okay. So you have to see that how can you switch off these clocks. So I will discuss after 2 or 3 slides. How can you control the clocks? Some bits are available. With the help of that bit, you can able to control the clock. And with the help of that clock, you are sending that you are forcing to do microcontroller in various low power modes. And also some devices support touch sense capability built on the pins, like touch screens. Okay, so some pins are available which is used like that. Now this happens for the external input devices, external output devices. That is called external peripheral devices. Now, when we are talking about the on-chip peripheral devices, so on-chip peripheral devices, ADC and DSC will be present. Okay. So ADC and DSC will be present. So we will see that how many types of ADC and DSC will be present on that. Let us see. There are SAR ADC, Sigma Delta ADC, and Slope ADC. There are three types of ADC converters. A lot of digital converters are present on that. When we are talking about the SAR ADC, there are two varieties, that is called 10-bit and 12-bit. So the ADC 10 and ADC 12. So ADC 10 consists of 10 bits and ADC 12 consists of 12 bits. So he will do the job for a particular bits. Like if you want to provide the input to ADC 10, so you maximum you can provide 10 bits at a time. Same way, you have a Sigma Delta converter. So Sigma Delta converter, there are two varieties, ST16 and ST24. It means that one Sigma Delta converter is of 16 bit and another is of 24 bits. And there is also slope converters are there. And when we are talking about the DAC converters, then 12-bit DAC 12s are present on that. So DAC 12, that is of 12 bit. So the bit indicates that how much data it will process at a time. Okay. So now there are various types of, you can see that SAR ADC, Sigma Delta ADC, Slope ADC. So what is the difference between that? What is the, why we will use these all the things? So you have to know some advantage and disadvantage of that. So when we are talking about the SAR ADC, it having the best accuracy. Okay, best accuracy in the case of processor. So generally in 99% case, 10-bit SAR is present in all the microcontrollers. जो भी जिसके पास भी ADC है, जो भी माइक्रोकंट्रोलर के पास 99% के आसपास SAR होता ही है, ठीक है, since it provides best accuracy. And also it is used in digital circuit to provide interface between the processor to any devices. Okay, and also it has conversion time is a constant or uniform. So when we are talking about the SAR ADC, the conversion time is constant, and that value is n into t clock. Number of bits into time. What is the disadvantage of that? Actually, the speed is limited for that. It will not, the maximum speed is 5 Mbps per second for SAR. This is the disadvantage of that. When we are talking about the Sigma Delta, the Sigma Delta is having high resolution. Okay, and also it is slow in conversion. So the benefit is it is high resolution, but it will take more time to convert data. If we are talking about the slow converter, so this is the slowest ADC. This is the slowest ADC in all of all. Then what is the benefit of that? The benefit is it is having more accurate rather than all the ADC converter. And also one more functions are there, it has greater noise immunity. That's why it depends upon application, which types of ADC or DAC you want to use, you can use it. No problem in that. So now if we will talk about the MSP 430 CPU, this is the more efficient ultra low power CPU. So it is ultra low power. Why to tell that? It has several low power modes. Okay, there are 4 low power modes. Low power mode 0, 1, 2, 3. So with the help of this, you can force to this microcontroller to work in a efficient way. Other is C compiler friendly. When you are going to write the program for this microcontroller, you are going to write in a C, and that is a software that is called Code Composer Studio. So this Code Composer Studio software is based upon the C and C++. So you can use C. This is the best friendly of that. When we are talking about the architectures, it is already I discussed. It is based upon the RISC architectures, reduced instruction set computing. So it is having less number of instructions. So you can see that only 51 instructions are available. So I think you can remember 51 instructions very easily. I'm not telling you remember, but it can be possible. So now 7 addressing modes are there, mainly 4. I will discuss addressing modes in detail, which type of addressing modes are there, what is the use of these addressing modes, okay, in separate topics. So it also has single cycle register operation. Whenever you do the operation between registers, it will take only single cycles. And also it has a facility of bit processing, byte processing, word processing. It means that you can able to process the data in a bit, in a byte, in a word. So bit means only single bit, byte means 8 bit, and word means 16 bit. So you can process any type of data. So there are options. There are varieties of options. There are 3 options are available. You can use it. So either you can process the word, either you can process the byte, or you can process the bit. That's fine in case of MSP 430. Now 1 MB unified memory map. So 1 MB memory is there. You can map these peripheral devices to this memory, separate memory. Okay. And also it is an improved code density. Yesterday I talked to you the what is the code density. In the less number of instructions or less number of programs, you can do a various types of jobs. Now it has faster executions. So if it is faster execution, it means that the time taken by this controller is very less. So that's why you can tell that it is a more efficient and very good. 100% compatible with earlier versions. So whatever MSP 430 G series is there, MSP 430 Fit series is there. So this is the highest newly versions. So it will support the previous version. Like if you are talking about the 64-bit processor, it is compatible with 32-bit processor also. So 64-bit processor में 32-bit में जो हम काम करते थे वो काम हम करते हैं, but इसमें एक्स्ट्रा करते हैं, like that. Now we will talk about the register sets. So now in register sets there are totally 16 registers are available. That is indicated as R0 to R15. Total 16 registers are available. So if these 16 registers are available, you can see R0, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5 up to R50. Okay, so this you can see that R0 to R3 there are giving slash R0 slash PC program counter, R1 slash stack pointer, R2 slash CG1, R3 slash CG1. So these 4 registers is used for the special functions also. Okay, and then this R4 to R15 you can use as a general purpose registers. This is a 16-bit or 20-bit ALU. This is destination, DST, and it is called source. Source and destination. Source from you can take a data. Destination you can send the data. Now there are several flags are there: 0 flags, carry flags, overflow flags, negative flags. I will see in the details. So there are 2 things. If you compile the any data, this is a 60-bit microcontroller, so you can process the data as 16-bit at a time. But when we are talking about the address lines, this is the 20-bit address lines. So for accessing any memory, any data from memory, then you require a 20-bit address lines. Then you can access the memory. Now I will see one by one. So this is the CPU registers. So CPU registers having total 16 registers, R0 to R15, and R0 to R0, R1, R2, R3 having dedicated functions. That is also called as special functions. But rest of R4 to R15 are working registers for general use. So whatever the registers are available, 12 CPU registers R4 to R14, it contains either 8-bit data, 16-bit data or 20-bit values. It can store anywhere. So now further we will start from the R0 registers. So R0 registers is also called as program counter. So all of you know that program counter is used for the point to the next instructions to be executed. Next instructions कौन सा execute होगा उसके address point करता है. Okay, so this is your 20-bit program counter, and it will point with the next instructions to be executed. कौन सा अगला instructions होगा जो execute करेगा. Okay, and each instructions uses an even number of bytes. These things is very important. So either 2, 4, 6 or 8 bytes, and PC is incremented accordingly. उसमें क्या होता है? Depending upon the instructions size, instructions की जितनी size है उसके according program counter jump करता है और program counter increment करता है. ठीक है? तो program counter increment कब करेगा? It depends upon the size of the instructions. तो साइज इसमें ये हो सकता है 2, 4, 6, 8, ऐसा नहीं 1, 3, 5, 7 ऐसा नहीं है पॉसिबल. ओके, सो आइदर ये 2+2 जंप करेगा या +4 इंक्रीमेंट करेगा या +6 इंक्रीमेंट करेगा या +8 इंक्रीमेंट करेगा. इट मीन्स दैट वट एवर इंस्ट्रक्शंस आर अवेलेबल, दैट द साइज ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन इज आइदर 2 byte और 4 byte और 6 byte और 8 byte. So only you can take that. It will take even address of the line. Okay. So now we will talk about the R1 registers. So the R1 register is also called as stack pointer. So it is of 20-bit. So what is the use of stack pointer? So it holds the address of the most recently added word. It is generally used at the time of executing subroutine. When you are executing subroutine, what happens? जब हम सब रूटीन एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं तो क्या होता है? जब सब रूटीन कोई भी एग्जीक्यूट होता है इसका मतलब क्या है कि दिस इज कॉल्ड मेन प्रोग्राम्स. ठीक है, और इसमें क्या है, सब रूटीन अलग एड्रेस टाइम्स पे लिखा हुआ है. नाउ व्हेन द प्रोग्राम काउंटर इज एग्जीक्यूटिंग दिस थिंग्स, एनी इंस्ट्रक्शंस कमिंग्स लाइक जंप और कॉल इंस्ट्रक्शंस, देन व्हाट विल हैपन? These things will be jumped to the subroutine, but currently executing address should be stored somewhere else. That data will be stored in the stack pointer, so that after finishing the subroutine you have to come back with this. Okay, and then you have to run the rest of the programs. So that's why stack pointer will be used, and it's very convenient way to take the data or to take the data from the stack pointer. It's very easy. That's why we are using the stack pointer for storing and means उसमें स्टोर करना और उससे निकालना दोनों आसान है. Now we will talk about the registers R2. It is also called as CG1 and SR. So SR indicates status register, CG1 indicates the constant generator. This is the name. Okay, constant generator. So what is the use of R2? So there is R2 registers is used in various ways. Like you can say that it will tell the status of the microcontroller. So it consists of several flags. There is 16-bit. You can see that from D0 to D15 there are 16-bit, and this 16-bit from D9 to D15 it will not use. Only we will using from the D0 to D8. So D0 is used for the carry flag, D1 is used for the 0 flag, D2 is used for the negative flag, D3 is used for the global interrupt enable flag, D4 is used for the CPU off, D5 is the oscillator off, D6 is the SG0 off, and D7 is called SG1, and D8 is called V, that is overflow flag. So flag, what is the use of flag? Flag will indicate that what is the situation with the output. If any process will happen, if any process will be continued, and then any result occur, after that you can get the result. So from result, the microcontroller, how does know that what is the status of the output? So with this bit, the microcontroller understand, okay, carry generated or not. From this bit, you can understand. Zero flag set is not, negative flag set is not, like that. So we will discuss what is the carry flag, when it is set, what is the zero flag, negative flags, all the flags will be set, okay. And this from CPU of OSC of SG0 and SG0. This 4 bits is used for low power mode. How can you control the low power mode? Okay. So now when we are discussing the bit descriptions of that. So first, the cross X, that is reserved. We are not knowing that function of that bit, particular bit. So you can left it out. Either you can put at 0 or 1. So better it can put to the 0 in the start place when you are finding the numbers. Now second is V, overflow flag. So what is the meaning of overflow? So if you are doing any arithmetic operation and then you are getting that more than the register value, like that, you can see you are adding two 16-bit number. If you are adding these two 16-bit numbers, okay. So if you are getting the result, it may be it is greater than 16-bit. So how it happens? How, where it will be stored? So in that situations, when you are doing any arithmetic operations, if the result is increased with the specified locations, or you can say the 16-bit, then it is tell that overflow flag is set. In that case, the microcontroller knows that the whatever result is there, we are not going to store all the results. You can say like that. Now we were talking about the SCG1 and SCG0. This is called system clock generator. So system clock generator, what is the use of that? So this is used for the enable or disable the function in the clock system. So I already told you this microcontroller having a clock system. In that clock system, there are 3 types of clock will be generated: A clock, SM clock, and M clock. So if you want to, let us consider, if you want to stop this SC clock, then you can use this with the help of SG1 and SG0 bit. So you can switch off any clock or you can switch on any clock. Either you can enable any clock or you can disable any clock. Now next is called OSC off. So OSC is copied oscillator off. So oscillator off means you are going to switch off the oscillator, means switch off the frequency. So how can you switch off the frequency? So when we are talking about the clock system, in that clock system, one LFXT1 crystal oscillator is there. We are not going to switch off all the clocks. We are going to switch off only either master clock or SM clock. If you are switching all up to the clock, what will happen? The system will shut down. But I need to work the system. For working the systems, you need a clock. So at that time, when OSC off, M clock or SM clock will be off, but at the same time, A clock will be working. Okay. Now when we are offing CPU off, so CPU off means you can only turn off the CPU. So CPU is responsible for the M clock. So only you can switch off the master clock. You can disable the master clock so that CPU will switch off. When CPU is switch off, it means that you are providing this bit equal to 1. And also we will talk about the GIE, general interrupt enable. So this bit helps you to enable the maskable interrupt or disable the maskable interrupt. So what is the meaning of maskable interrupts and non-maskable interrupt? So non-maskable interrupts, this interrupt you can't be able to control that. So these non-maskable interrupts are necessary interrupts. You cannot stop it. But maskable interrupts, you can enable that and you can disable that. But in the case of non-maskable, you can't able to disable that interrupts. Okay. So when this bit equal to set, it means that you are enabling the maskable interrupts. The system will take the maskable interrupts. When it is reset, it means that all maskable interrupt is disabled. The system will not able to take that particular interrupts. So when we are talking about the negative flag, so it will depends upon the result. Either result is positive or negative. If result is negative, then this bit is set. Set means whenever I am telling about set or reset, set means 1 and reset means 0 always in the case of processor or controller. Okay, and when the result is positive, it means that it is negative flag is reset. Okay, now when 0 is set, 0 means 1 when the result of operation is 0. If you are operating, if you are doing any operation and you are getting the result 0, it means that this flag will be set and cleared when the result is not 0. Carry flag, same. This is bit is set when the carry is generated, or if the carry is not generated, it means reset. So what will happen actually? Controller will operate something, like he will do some operation, and after operation he will get some value. With this value, these things will be set and reset will be defined, so that the microcontroller will understand what is the status of output. That's it. This is the job. Now we are talking about the constant generator registers CG1 and CG2. So it is actually used for 6 commonly used constant. Whatever happened when you are writing the programs, you are defining some constant in the programs. So there is no need to write the program constant always. You have to write constant once and then you can use it. So this controller having facility without taking the memory space, you are going to use the constant. That's why R2 and R3 will be used for the constant generator. So now what is the advantage of that? No special instructions required. First, you need not any required instructions. No additional code required for 6 constant. तो ये 6 कांस्टेंट है, इस 6 कांस्टेंट को हमें कोई भी कोड वर्ड लिखने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, कोई भी इंस्ट्रक्शंस लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. इसका मतलब क्या है? It will not take any memory space. So no code memory access required to retrieve the constant. So ये कांस्टेंट ऐसा है कि विदाउट मेमोरी स्पेस में हम इसको रख सकते हैं. तो उससे फायदा क्या होगा? We can save the memory. We can save the space of memory. Okay. So who is responsible for doing that? So the assembler uses the constant generator automatically. If any of the 6 constants are used as an immediate source operand, registers R2, R3 used in the constant mode cannot be addressed explicitly. They act as a source only registers. That's why R2 and R3 you cannot use as a general purpose register. So R2 and R3 is used only source registers, not destination registers. Assembler will take care of this, all the things. Now, how can you find that 6 constant generators will be generated? Now you can see that different value of R2 and R3. So this is R2 value equal to 0, R2 equal to 0, 1, R2 equal to 1, 0, R2 equal to 1, 1. Same way R3 equal to 0, R3 equal to 0, 1, R3 equal to 1, 0, R3 equal to 1, 1. Now, if you are providing these value to the registers, corresponding registers, then what will happen? Now, when you are providing R2 equal to 0, it means that there is no constant. And it will be working in a register mode. So you can transfer the data between registers. When R2 equal to 0, 1, this constant is 0 and it is absolute addressing mode. So when we will talk about the addressing mode, I will discuss all the things. What is the addressing mode, register addressing modes, what is the absolute addressing modes, like that. Okay. So these two addressing modes, if R2 equal to 0 and R2 equal to 0, 1, it means that there is no constant generator up to till. So we can remove this. We have only 6 constant generator. Now we will talk about one by one. So if you are talking about R2 equal to, you are putting R2 equal to 10, it means that the address is 00004H. It's not address, it is a offset sequential. It means that plus 4-bit processing. So if this constant registers will come, constant generator will occur R2, then you can jump 4-bit. The PC will jump 4-bit. Okay, so this R2 will come to into the instructions, and with the help of the instructions, this constant will be modified into the program for a program counter. When R2 equal to 11, it means that it will take the plus 8-bit processing, means it will jump plus 8-bit. So अगर मान लो तुम्हें plus 8-bit का जंप करानी है, ठीक है, 8 लोकेशंस इंक्रीज करनी है, इंक्रीमेंट करनी है, देन यू कैन यूज कांस्टेंट जनरेटर R2 इक्वल टू 11. तो इस केस में क्या होगा, 8 बिट जंप करेगा. अगर प्रोग्राम काउंटर की वैल्यू 002 है तो इसका मतलब 00010 हो जाएगा. ओके, मींस 000A, 10 का मतलब A. Now what will happen in case of R3 equal to 0? So this is used for the, you can see, this is used for the bird processing. This is used for the bird processing. Bird means 16-bit. So when R3 equal to 0, it means that it is 0 bird processing. There is no jump at all. When R3 equal to 01, it means that you are jumping one location. Means you are increasing plus 1. Same way R3 equal to 10, it means that you are jumping 0002. It means plus 2-bit processing. Same way R3 equal to 11, so you can do minus 1. Remember that. Bird processing means you can go to the previous location.